Hi, my name is Nonima Tigela. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Good morning. It's a Monday morning. I want us to have a conversation regarding the Senzo Meyiwa trial, of course. That is what we talk about mostly in this channel. Yes, we do talk about other cases too, but mostly the Senzo Meyiwa trial. There's a lot of things that happened this past few months, and some of them are way too shocking for us to just ignore. Anyway, now let's break it down, what we want to talk about. In a trial already stretched to its limits, in a courtroom where every second of delay deepens a decade of pain, one decision has shaken the legal landscape of South Africa. Judge Ratha Mokgoatlheng has just done this one thing the law never allows a court to do. He reopened an issue without an application, without a request, without a legal foundation required by the interest of justice. By the interest of justice test, okay? So today we break down why this move doesn't bend the law, it obliterates it. Before a court can open or can reopen a case or introduce new evidence, the law demands 5 strict requirements. The evidence must be indispensable, it must be relevant, it must be previously unknown, it must have been impossible to present earlier, and it must not prejudice the accused. Okay, hang on to that. 5 pillars, 5 safeguards, 5 guarantees that reopening a matter won't turn a trial into chaos. Yet in the Senzo Meyiwa trial, every one of these safeguards was blown apart. Okay, let's come back again to them. The evidence must be indispensable. First of all, sorry, if Judge Ratha wants to call, if the judge wants to call the people that arrested Gwabini, including Gininda and Mokgola, who were not there, doesn't make sense because him proving that Gwabini was beaten has nothing to do with the application that was applied for. I don't know if I'm making sense. And then they say it must be relevant. I don't see the relevance at this stage. Not that it's not. At this stage, it's not. It must be previously unknown. Yes, the information that Gwabini was arrested, we didn't know. Maybe he's going to ask then why Gininda never told the court that. It must have been impossible to present it earlier. Now, this is where I want us to focus on. It was never impossible for Gininda to tell us that Gwabini was arrested. And he didn't. He had multiple occasions where he could have said it because he spoke about Gwabini the moment he entered the witness box in the trial, within a trial, and also in the main trial. He spoke about Gwabini the entire time. He was in the witness box since 2020, what? 2024, sometime, was it October, November? Yes, from October, November, December, and then January, I think January to February, if I'm not mistaken, until January, he was in the witness box. He never spoke about Gwabini being arrested. Never, never. Gwabini to him was a person that gave evidence that the accused were in false lawyers. This part of him being arrested and all the shame that had to do with everything that Gwabini went through, Gininda never mentioned it. So for him to be brought back to talk about that, but there is a problem with that, it's very questionable. It is very, very much questionable. So it was not impossible to present that information. Never. He had all occasions, all opportunities to do it. Even Nxumalo touched on that. That's what I wanted to also deal with. Now, let's start with the basics. The state never applied to reopen. Not once, not indirectly, not even hinted. Still, the judge opened a brand new inquiry. An inquiry into Gwabini's alleged assault, an issue that is not part of the admissibility application before him. This inquiry is not indispensable. It is not relevant to proving the 2020 statement. It was not unknown to anyone. It was absolutely possible to raise years ago. And worst of all, it prejudices the accused, dragging this trial into deeper delay and destabilizing defense strategy. This is not the interest of justice test. It is judicial overreach wrapped in legal language. That's what Judge Rata is doing there. It's not about the accused or the case or whatever. This decision doesn't just derail one application. It threatens the fair trial rights of 5 accused men. It hijacks the court's focus and it risks transforming a legal process into a legal crisis. If courts can reopen issues without applications, if judges can introduce irrelevant inquiries on their own, then the entire structure designed to protect fairness collapses. And that's why this moment is bigger than the Meyiwa trial. It cuts to the heart of justice in South Africa. So let's let the record be clear. The interest of justice test is not a suggestion. It is the law's firewall against chaos. And in this instance, every firewall failed. That is what Judge Rata did here. That is exactly what Judge Rata did here. He failed as a judge when it comes to what he was supposed to do. It's not how things are done. Absolutely not. So he says all of this, he does it in the interest of justice test. And that is why he's reopening the case. And let's talk about the interest of justice test, why reopening fails here. The lawful reopen case or introduce new issue, the court must satisfy all 5 requirements. We already talked about them: indispensable, relevant, previously unknown, impossible to present before, not prejudicial, all of that. When we say indispensable, we're saying the evidence must be crucial to resolving the issue before the court, which is the heads of arguments that Baloyi requested to do. Relevant, it must be directly related to the application currently being heard, which is not. Previously unknown, it must not have been known earlier. We knew about it, but now the inquiry has nothing to do with the application. Impossible to prevent before, the party couldn't reasonably have led this evidence earlier. No, it was talked about, but now Ugininda did talk about Gwabini. So why didn't he mention all of these things? It must not be prejudicial. It must not unfairly harm the accused or derail the proceedings. That is exactly what is happening. That is exactly what is happening. None of these requirements are met in Judge Rata's intervention. No application by the state. The state never applied to reopen. The judge acted on his own, outside any party's request. The issue raised, Gwabini's alleged assault, is not before the court. The court was seized with one question: whether the state has met the legal threshold to admit the 2020 alleged confession. The assault allegation is not part of that application. Number 3, zero relevance to the 2020 statement dispute. The alleged assault has not been bearing on the voluntariness, admissibility, or proof of the 2020 statement. Zero, nothing. It introduces new and unrelated factual inquiry now. It was not unknown. Police custody allegations were known years ago. Nothing new suddenly emerged to justify reopening. Severe prejudice to the accused. This intervention, the delays a 10-year-old murder trial, derails defense strategy mid-application, forces accused to answer to issues not raised by the state, expands the inquiry far beyond Section 219A requirements. This fundamentally harms the accused's fair trial rights. That is what Judge Rata is doing here. And he's deliberate with his acts. That's exactly what he is doing. And it's questionable. Funny enough, I don't know if he doesn't know that. It is way too questionable what he is doing. Unfortunately, Ujad Rata doesn't care. He's doing what he wants to do. The judge's conduct does not pass any leg of the interest of justice test. He introduced a new issue that is irrelevant, prejudicial, not applied for, and not indispensable. This is the very definition of judicial overreach. What Judge Rata is doing here is unfair, unconstitutional, dealing with the accused, and that is why the question is, will he be able to be a fair judge after the so-called assassination accusation plot? Will he? So the trial has entered we used to say the trial is unfair, but the grounds that it's in now, way too unfair, Dana. Way above the unfairness and whatever. It's too much right now where we are standing. Where we are standing, everything has become way too much. Anyway, guys, what are your thoughts when it comes to this? Do you think Ujad Rata feels entitled to do these things because he's not scared of anyone? Ujad Rata doesn't care what happens with the case. Ujad Rata has a mandate that he needs to complete. Ujad Rata is doing as he pleases because maybe his friends are in high positions there at the judiciary. What do you think is happening here? Why is he acting so recklessly? Let's talk in comment section. I want to hear your views. Thank you so much. I will see you on our next video. Bye-bye.